So just kind of as you're standing, just sort of shake your arms and legs a little bit. Sort of feel your body. Take a breath in and out. Good. Yeah, shaking is good. Shaking, you know, one of the things, especially if you're noticing that you're sitting a little bit more than normal, because I feel like my whole life is looking at a computer right now and just sitting, and you know, the lymphatic system doesn't get the same pump as when we're moving around. And while walking is good, we want to make sure that we're getting the whole body going. So just kind of shake, even leave your feet and just shake, right? Just loosen up, feel the glutes relax. Good, let the thighs relax, and shoulders and the hands, good. Just sort of shake and just take some breaths as you do that. If you prefer to bounce, you can bounce. Bouncing is good. Or if you just want to shake, shake. And hopefully you're alone in the room so that you can really let go and just sort of relax around this as you breathe. And exhale. Good. Couple more, just bouncing, just shaking, whatever feels good. Feel the looseness, right? Looseness in your ankles, and your knees, and your hips. Our joints are spaces, and movement happens in our spaces. So we need mobility there. We don't want to be all stiff. Good. And then we're just going to get you to shake your thighs and rub your hands together. Those of you that have done the melt with me, remember to get your melt balls out, right? And roll the melt balls around in your hands and under your feet. Good. Excellent. And then just shake that out. All right. And then we're just going to bend the knees and lift up with the breath. And exhale. And up. And out. And up. And out. Two more. And up. And out. Good. And one more time. Up. And out. Good. And just start to swing. Just let the legs pump and the arms swing. And pump and swing. Good. Blood flows, circulation, breath, and energy. Good. And then just start to swing your arms forward and back. Good. And if this just feels like too much rigor for your day today, just leave the legs out of it. Good. And you're just breathing in and out. Let gravity help you here, right? Let gravity help you just with drop and lift. Drop and lift. Floating, arms just lifting and dropping, and your ribs start to come into it. Yes, your ribs. And as you rotate your hips, good, and your head, right? And as we start to turn and notice and look and scan different parts of the room, we're also challenging our vestibular. And vestibular is your inner ear for balance. You really want to make sure we're moving and turning the head. Good. And then just bring it into center. And just start to roll through the feet. So it would look like a march, but I'm actually pushing through the foot and pointing the toes there. Good. So I'm getting this toe heel. I'll slow it right down. Toe heel as I land, push off. So you don't have to slow it down, but I just want you to see the foot roll here. Good. If you need your chair for balance, bring it close by so you've got it for balance. Good. And then just let your arms move with your legs. Good. And then growing taller. So now once we've got this foot roll and the arms floating, I want you to take your focus here to the ground center aligned. Yeah. So I'm going to slow it down. You don't have to slow it down, but I want you to think about the pushing down into the foot, the activating of the glute, and the lifting of the spine. So even though it would appear that the movement would be your focus, it's really the standing leg, getting that standing hip. Good. Excellent. And then we're going to take it into a little cross crawl here. Cross crawl. So any kind of crossover brain gym, right? So now we can get the integration of the left and right side of the brain with the cross crawl. Good. Breathing in. Excellent. and out. Good. And just start to make it a little smaller, but still staying tall and strong through your spine. That's it. Good. And then just start to take it out to the side. So legs are wide now, toes are pointed forward, and we're just going to lunge from one side to the other. Good. Moving through your body, side to side. And then we're going to add an overstretch. So now creating this lengthening through the side body. You can move at your own pace here. Don't feel like you need to move at my pace. If you want to go a little slower, you can slow it. If you feel like you need to move a little faster, just meet your energy where it is. So if you're feeling like you've got some pent up energy and it's like this thoroughbred that they're waiting for that gate to open so you can go flying out through that gate, or maybe you're waking up a little slower today and you need to move slower, right? So just listening to your own body. We're going to change the movement of the arm. And this time as I come over, I want to lift and circle. I want to lift and circle. And again, if it feels okay for you, let your eyes start to follow a little bit. Don't let yourself get dizzy, but this challenges again that vestibular inner ear as we go. As we're getting this rotation and movement through your spine. And around, and just two more with the breath. And around, and bring it center. Good. So we're going to keep the legs wide, so knees bent, toes pointed out. We're just going to round and open. And inhale. Good. So as you round your back, really tuck your tail under. Pull your belly in, so you're pushing your lower ribs back as your head comes forward. Good, and round and open. And breath as we go. Excellent. And round. Good. And just two more here. That's it. Just feeling your body, noticing your body. That's it. And then bring it in. Good. Walk your feet in. Excellent. So we're just going to take your hands, clasp them overhead, and stretch up. And just a little side bend over to one side. And bring it up. A little side stretch. And you can even push your hip away a little there too. And up. So it would be like a modified banana stretch that we do on the core line. Feels so good. Pushing the hip away. And bring it up. And over. And center. Good. And bring it down. So we're going to do a little upper trunk neck lengthening. So you can take your band. Hopefully you've got a longish band. So if you have variations, just grab the longest one that you have. And then you're just going to stand on the band like so. And then we're going to choke up on it. So I want you to choke up so it's really, you've got a lot of tension here. So what will happen is we're actually going to use the band to depress the shoulders. And just make sure that you don't pull into the side there, so that you're lifting up against that tension. So collarbone wide, tummy in. And then you're just going to tilt your head to one side and just let the band pull this opposite shoulder down. And then bring it up. And then tilt your head to the other side and just let the band draw this shoulder down. And then up. And then again to one side, let the band draw that shoulder down. So you're creating length here for me between my left ear and left shoulder. And up. And then one more time. Just let it. Good. And then just allow the arms to be drawn down. So you're sort of, getting a little assistance of the downward motion. And then just draw chin to chest. And then bring it back up. And then draw chin to chest. And really let the arms be pulled down, but keep your collarbone wide. And then bring it up. And one more time. And then to bring it up. And then just let yourself be drawn over to one side. Let this sort of be pulled down. And then use your abdominals to bring it up. And then same thing this side. And then up. And then over. Let your ear drop towards the floor as well. And one more time. And let your ear drop. Good. And then bring it up. Excellent. So keep your band nearby, but we're going to pull the chair out and have a seat on the chair. The band can just go down. And the chair is a lovely place to do some of these stretches because it's just so convenient to sit in a chair and do it. So I'm going to be forward on the edge of the chair, and you can do this seated on the floor as well. You're going to take your feet and open them up nice and wide. And you're going to cross your arms and place your hands on the outside of your knee there. And you're just going to pull your knees apart. And then breathe and come up. If you're doing this down on the floor, you're just pulling the knees apart and stretching this way like so. So it's the same. And then bring it up. And pull your knees apart. Good. And then bring it up. Pull your knees apart. Stretching across your back. And then bring it up. Now this next one, again, seated on the floor is fine. You're going to take your hands, interlock your fingers like so. You want to turn your palms to the ceiling, thumbs pointed straight ahead. Noticing I'm sitting up straight and tall through my body. And I want to keep wide and open through the upper traps here. And so all you're going to do here is just reach your arms forward. So reaching the thumbs straight ahead. And if you can keep your shoulders down and soft here, you're going to feel an upper trap release. And then keep reaching the hands forward. And then just gently start to nod your chin down as you're reaching your thumbs ahead. Staying broad and wide open through the top of the shoulder. And then start to let your head come forward more as you keep reaching your arms forward. And then we get this beautiful stretch through the upper traps and just up here where we have so much tension and across the deltoid. And then keep your thumbs forward. Make sure your arms stay shoulder height or lower as you slowly restack your spine and then sit up tall. Good. And take a breath there and then release your arms down. So hopefully you've really felt that. If you're getting a lot of tension, that's kind of a nice one to do. So we're still sitting on the edge of your seat, and you can take your hands behind you if you've got something to grab and just lean forward and open your chest. Your option is you could take hold of the seat behind you here, or you can just be here. Good. And then up. If you're sitting on the floor, you would just be here. You can take the hands behind, or you can put your hands up on the seat behind you. So lots of variations to open your chest. I just like to do that after we've been rounding our back. As you breathe. Good. Excellent. And then one more time. So just to allow some assistance to broaden across the collarbone. And bring it back up. Good. So I'm sure we all have a totally new relationship with our chairs now, don't we? They're not just for sitting at the dinner table. So we're going to take this arm across to your thigh, and then you can grab wherever it is on your chair and just pull yourself into a twist as you sit tall and breathe. So if you're sitting on the floor, you would just be doing like so. Shoulders relax, back is strong, take a breath in and exhale. And then you can bring yourself around a little more if it feels good. Sitting tall, lift up, good. Takes about 15 seconds or 3 breaths for the tissue to adapt. And then if you're wanting to go a little bit deeper, then you might notice you can start to do that over time. And then just slowly unwind. Come out of the rotation like that, slowly. And then just around to the other side. Right? You're either using your chair or your body. Good. So how can you use the equipment to create some leverage for yourself? As you sit tall, soften your shoulders. Take a breath in. Joseph Pilates was very adamant that the client is comfortable in the position. And that's why in class, as you breathe, going a little deeper, we do things like prop you up on pillows, get you up on boxes. Here, we're giving you option of a chair, because if you're not comfortable, all you can think of is, I'm not comfortable. Okay, so if you're sitting in a chair, we're just gonna do a little bit of hip stuff here. You're gonna flex your foot and cross your ankle over. And the important thing here is that your hips are planted. If you don't have a chair, at this stage of the game, I'm gonna have you lie down on your back, and we're just basically taking your chair position and flipping it back. And you're gonna do this stretch like so. So take that as an option as well, lying down on your back. Otherwise, here we are, hold this foot flexed, and we wanna keep your hips square. So one of the things I like about doing this stretch on the chair is because keeping your hips square is important. And we cue this when we do melt, that we want to keep your pelvis square in the roller when we're on our back. It's not so much about getting this knee down, it's about keeping the hips square, spine centered, then you would press the knee away without shifting any of that. Now, depending on where you're at and how that's feeling, this might be enough for you to breathe. Wherever you are, you want it to be tolerable. So if you're like making the face and holding your breath, you need to ease up. So making sure you can keep your breath, but the next would just be to hinge forward. So all I'm doing is I'm deepening the external rotation in this deep side hip. Good. If you feel things gripping, you ease up as you take a breath in, and then you can go back into it, or you can just stay there and hold. Good. Take another breath. Lengthening through your spine, checking that you're not holding any unnecessary tension in your body as you breathe. And you come up. Good. Let's change sides. So we're going to cross this ankle over. This foot is planted. So you want to make sure that you're sitting, right? Balanced in both sits bones. This foot is flexed and your spine is tall. You can take this hand, just apply a little pressure on the knee, but don't compromise the alignment of your pelvis and spine to get the knee down, because it's not about that. So from here, your option is to hinge forward. If you're lying down on your back, what you'd be doing is drawing your legs a little more towards you, making sure you're keeping balanced weight on both sides of your pelvis. Good. And with a nice long spine, just breathe here. So we're using our bodies different now, right? A lot of people, which is wonderful, we're getting outside and walking. And some people are saying, I'm walking for hours and hours a day, but now my hips are tight. Now my low back is tight. Now my glutes are tight. So we're noticing different things of how we're using our body. And honestly, we can't go for a long walk and then walk in the house and sit down and look at our computer again. We need to release that tension that was built up from the walk. So you're just breathing, keeping the spine long, easing up as you need to, and easing into it again as you breathe. Good. And then coming up. Excellent. Now, if you're on a chair that doesn't have armrests, you're going to turn sideways and you're going to take this leg back and open your hip. If you're on a chair that has armrests, it's going to be really hard to sit sideways like this. So your option will be to come and balance in a runner's stretch like so. If you don't have a chair, you can be in a hip stretch right here. So this is your option. So this would be the most modified form that you can really keep your spine long. And as you step that leg back and reach it back, we've got this lovely hip stretch. And then we can add a little more side lengthening. You can grab on somewhere to the seat and just stretch over to the side, like so. And if you're not in this position and you're here, well, you've got the same choice. Yeah, you've got the same choice to be here, or if you're down on the floor, you can be here. Excellent. And one of the gifts that we are getting with this is that we're finding ways to move our body based on the environment that we're in. And then just bring it back. And let's just go into that one more time. So I'm using this hand as an anchor a little there, just so that I don't want to feel like I'm working really hard to be here. I want to be able to settle into the position and breathe. So you're reaching this hip down as you're reaching this leg back, and then your ribs just allow a little more lengthening in that position. Good, and then bring it up. And then you can spin around and face the other way. So you can see here as I spin around that I've got my leg back, I've got my hip down. I can use my hand here at the side and then stretch over. If you're again on the floor here, you've got support from the chair, which is lovely. I can have my knee down, or I can have my legs straight. Play with it, listening to your body. You can ease up, come out of that stretch. What does it need? Where does it want to go? Where does it need to be? And as you float over, relax your shoulders and breathe. Good, just to open the hips. Great thing to do, you know, at your desk, at your office chair as well. Now the desk sentence. And one more time, up and over. Good. And all the things I do when this first happened and we were in our first week of closure, I hurt my back and hips sitting in a chair. It was ridiculous. So bring one leg up to your chest, pull your thigh in and circle your ankle. So your back is strong, your chest is open, your abdominals are engaged. And breathing in and breathing out. Circle the other way. Back strong, tummy's tight. Sometimes all we need to do is get back into proper alignment. Let's change sides, chest up, back strong, and just circle your foot. Good, so we're active here, right? Actively working through your arms, your back, and your tummy. Change directions. Good, and breathing in. And breathing out. Excellent. And then place your foot down. Now, depending on what's happening with your body, we can use the chair. We're just going to rock forward so that your hands can come to the floor. And then we're just going to do a little hamstring stretch. Now, for you, you're like, whoa, that floor is really far away. This is a really beautiful modification. Hands on the chair, you can bend. And then as you straighten, what we want to focus on is getting some length in the back of our legs. So your hands are either down here, knees bend and extend, or they can be up here. Breathing in and up. Good. And inhale and exhale. Got it. Two more. And to lengthen. Excellent. And down. If your hands are on the floor, you're just going to bend your knees and step your feet wide. And you're going to come right down into your masala pose. If your hands are here, you can do the same thing and sit. Do your best to be here for even just a little bit, shifting side to side, keeping your chest up. If this position, your knees don't like to be here or your ankles don't have the range, just use your chair and squat with the chair and then just stand up, get what you can, right? The more we move our hips, the deeper we can move in through your hips and your knees and your ankles. You're just shifting side to side. Back is strong, the better. All right. Just a couple more breaths. This is also really good for the low back and for your pelvic floor, with gravity relaxing through your sacrum. Excellent. Good. So if you're here, it's really easy just to come down onto your bottom. Otherwise, you can take one foot forward, bring your knee down so you can come down to the floor safely. Make sure you've got a towel or a band so that we can do some assisted stretches. So we're going to sit. I'm going to take our band, and you'll place the band behind your feet. We're just going to get a little movement through our spine. Hopefully you guys are feeling nice and warmed up and good in your body. And you're going to hold quite tight so that you've got assistance. And sitting tall, take a breath. And exhale, just scoop through your tummy and curl back. So hold that scoop. Take a breath. Exhale, contract your abdominals. So the tighter you're holding the band, the more help you're going to have. So as I'm here, if I've got lots of tension, I have some help holding me. And then to come back, even though I want to pull my abdominals in, I'm letting the band assist the return. So you're tucking under, you're drawing your pubic bone towards your belly button. And that in itself is creating a little bit of movement through your low back. And again, we curl, we scoop. Good. And then you come all the way up, and we'll just do one more. And exhale. Good. Inhale. And exhale. Good. So we're going to go all the way back, but we're going to keep the band. So we round back. If you need to slide the hands along the band to get there, then that's fine. And then take your left leg out, so only your right foot is in the band. And you want to grip about mid calf, and then bring your elbows down to the mat. Check that your shoulders are relaxed. We're just going to circle. Now, if there, for any reason, if you're just super tight here in your hip or your hamstring, your option is to take the band behind your knee, and you're going to want to choke up even tighter. So intention is by supporting the weight of the leg, the muscles around your hip can relax. They can let go and allow the movement. So when we're so tight in our hips, in our glutes, and in our low back, the joint in itself, it doesn't move because there's too much tension. So here we just want to let go of any of that tension, allow the weight of the leg to be supported, and just feel the movement. And then go the other way. So play with this, guys. You can sort of feel how your hands have this rein as the tension shifts and changes from one side to the other. And open your hip and cross it over midline as it feels fluid, as it feels smooth. Make this easy, moving with your breath. Every breath has a move, and every move has a breath. And just coordinate that. Inhale and exhale. Good. Now, if this is your right foot in the strap, I want you to hang on with your left leg. Good. Take your right arm out to the side. You can bend your right knee or keep it lengthened and just take it over to a rotation. So knee can be bent or straight. Take a breath in. As you exhale, tighten your tummy. Let your arm help bring the leg back. Again, take it across your body. The knee can soften. Go where it feels good, where you can breathe. And reach your hip down a little bit. Just kind of get a little bit more into your glute. Breathe it there. and then bring it back. Then change hands. So you're going to grab now with the right hand, and you're going to actually bend your left knee and open the left hand. So when your right leg goes down to the side, your left leg is going to fall out to the left to help keep your hips square. Relax your shoulders, check that your wrist is sturdy, and then just bring everything back to center. And again, as you breathe, let your hips open. Let the weight of your leg be supported by the band. And then bring it back. And one more time, just let the hips open. Really let the weight of your leg be held and supported in the band. And bring it back to center. Good. Then hold this band up in both hands, one side in each hand. You're going to bend your knee, flex your foot, and then extend your leg up, but reach your sit bone down to the ground. So now we're getting this lengthening down the back of the leg. And bend and lengthen up. Reach your sit bone down. Try and get a little space in your low back, not by arching the back, but by lengthening your spine. Bend the knee and extend. And bend your knee and extend. Now straighten your left leg out. Bend your right knee and reach this left hip away. Hold on nice and tight. Just breathe and reach this hip. Even if your pelvis skews a little bit. Just take a couple of breaths there. Pulling the thigh in nice and deep into your body. And then release the band. Place that leg down and just shake your legs out. Good. So let's go to the other leg. So now we're going to place the left foot under the band. Your right leg will be straight for now. We want to hold with the opposite hand nice and tight and take your left arm out to the side. It fits your left leg in the strap. The knee can be bent or stay straight. It really is what feels good for you. Oh, we have to do our circles first. Sorry, guys. One hand in each strap, bring your elbows down. And we did our circles first, which is actually nice to do before the other, because the other is a little deeper. And this is more about mobility and allowing the leg to be supported. So we're just cueing the leg to let it go as we breathe. Inhale and exhale. Good. And inhale and exhale. Other way, same thing. Open the hip, cross it over midline. Use the band with the hands where you're driving the reins, right? You're allowing, and then you're also helping to bring the leg back. It goes over and bring it back. That's it. One more time. So the leg just moves fully supported. Good. All right. So now we'll move into that. Sorry about that. Cross over, grab high. Bend the knee or straight. Open. Take your leg across. So you're holding that leg with the band. Pause for a breath. And then use your abdominals to help bring your pelvis against your leg back. And again, rotate. You can bend the knee, straighten the knee. If you don't like that, just keep the knee bent and bring the leg across. Listen to your body. If you're like, oh, I want to vary it, then vary it. And one more time to go over. And then bring it up. So now we're going to hold on nice and tight. You're going to bend the right knee in and open the right arm to the side. And now as we take the left leg out, we let the right hip open as well. And then we bring it back to center. We don't really need
flexibility, unless there's something that you do in your world that requires flexibility. What we need for daily movement, functional movement, is mobility. We need that ability to reach, to pull, to stretch over to one side, to grab things, to bend down low. And so the way I tend to work in classes is on range of motion, which requires a combination of mobility in the joints, stability in the core to manage that mobility. Good. And then bring it all the way up. So now we're going to straighten this leg out, and we want to focus on lengthening the hamstring. So if you bend the knee a little bit, and then you reach your heel to the ceiling as you lengthen your sits bone down. To get more of a lengthening, which is what I'm interested in, so that you feel this sense of lengthening from your heel through your calf to your hamstring to your sits bone. We want your pelvis to be neutral, which is where having that little space in the low back comes in. And then we just ease up and we lengthen. Good. And we ease up and we lengthen. Good. So now we're going to bring this leg in nice and tight. And if you prefer just to hold on behind the back of your thigh, you can do that. And then we reach through the right hip. So we're pulling this in nice and deep. We're getting some beautiful opening through the posterior side of the left. And then we want to reach through your right hip and thigh. And just take a couple of breaths here. It's like an upside down runner stretch, the standing lunge that we were doing earlier, or the seated lunge. We just put you on your back. And then we can release. Good. So we're just going to come into a butterfly pose here where the bottoms of your feet come together and your hips open. And just let your lower body just kind of rock like a boat. Good. You can place your hands on your thighs and just support that gentle rocking. As you breathe. Good. Inhale and exhale. Good. And just two more breaths here. Inhale and exhale. Nice little massage for your sacrum. And exhale. Good. And then bring your knees together. And you're going to roll onto your side. Now, if you want your head elevated, you can do that, but we're going to be rotating, so we're not going to be having our head kind of hanging here for too long. So now we want to keep your pelvis stacked and the sense of this knee lined up with the bottom knee. Reach this arm forward and you'll find your head doesn't dangle quite as much. And then you're going to reach this arm forward and just think about brushing the ceiling as we rotate. And the knee might stagger a little bit, but we want to focus more on the opening of your chest. And then we come back all the way over onto that shoulder. And begin reaching, rotating. Allow the shoulder to come down. So if your pelvis has to move to get this shoulder down, and so your arm can rest, that's fine to let it do that. What we don't want is your arm kind of hanging off your shoulder like this. We want your torso to turn. So if the lower body compensates, that's okay. And then bring it back. Now this time you're coming right over onto your side. This time we're going to circle the arms. You're going to take your arm overhead as you turn your body. And then keep that arm circling to your pelvis and then come back to your side. Reach your arm. Now don't just circle. I want you to reach it. Really stretch. Really open through your ribs. Let your body and head follow and circle around. Come right back onto your side. Reach this arm forward and around. Excellent. So your ribs and your hips are following your arm as you stretch Move and breathe. And one more time, going right over, reaching ahead. And now this time as you come around, you're going to let your knees come up and you're going to roll all the way to the other side. So all the way to the other side. And then we just bring the arm up and we come just to our side stretch. Try to keep your hip and knee reaching this way, but I want your shoulders supported. So we want your arm and shoulder to match. And then just come back onto your side, all the way over onto that shoulder. And then reach the arm to the ceiling. Open. Can you get that shoulder blade down? Again, allow your pelvis to shift as it needs to. But we're still creating that lengthening energy of this top hip and knee reaching in one direction as your shoulders in the other direction. And then bring it back. We're going to do this one more time. And with the breath, so move your ribs, move your sternum, let that scapula come down as you reach your hip and knee in the opposite direction. And breathing into this rib. And then bring it back. So now we're going to take your arm overhead. So really reach, and roll around, expand, breathing into the front body. Let this arm come all the way down to your hip. Roll back onto your side as you breathe in. Make that circle big. Take up lots of space in your room, expanding, expanding. And that this energy isn't just your arm here. It's coming from your spine, through your ribs, through your arm, out your finger, now from your belly button to your ribs, through your arm, out your finger, and one more time, all the way around as you breathe and open. And now stay here and let your legs rock back to center. So now you're on your back and your arms come down by your side. Plant your feet, bring your heels in close to your seat. Arms are long, take a breath. And as you exhale, scoop through your abdominals, press down into your feet and roll through your spine as your knees reach over your toes. Check that you're still fully planted through your feet and your toes as you inhale. And then exhale, just gently allow gravity to assist the segment or movement through your spine, through your low back, through your pelvis. Inhale. As you exhale, start with your abdominals. Draw your pubic bone to your belly button. Then push into your feet. Get heavy into your feet. And as you're rolling up, you're lengthening out. The energy is traveling through your thigh, out your knees, over your toes. Throat open, collarbone wide. Take a breath. Narrowing that knee angle just a little bit more. Keep heavy through your feet. Can you feel your big toe pad pressing into the floor? And then exhale, lengthening through the back of your neck. Hips stay open to the ceiling as long as they can as you gently, gently allow the movement in your spine. Inhale as everything releases. As you exhale, scoot through your abdominals. Press through your feet. As you roll up, focus your line of energy, lengthening out your thighs, out your knees. Take a breath in. And exhale. Lengthening. Feel space. Space. Each vertebra is a joint, and let that space between come, releasing compression through your spine. Release your hips, your glutes. One more. As you exhale, press into your feet. Open your hips. Reach your knees over your toes. Take a breath. And exhale to roll all the way. Straighten your legs out. If it's more comfortable to keep your knees bent, keep your knees bent. Turn your palms to your ceiling. Close your eyes. And just dropping into your breath. Never more have I been aware of my breath. As we embrace this new way of being, we're noticing the quiet. We're hearing the birds. We're hearing the clock tick. We take that into allowing our body to slow down, to rest, to simply breathe, to just be in our body, within ourselves. Inhale and exhale. To be supported by the floor, by your mat. Inhale. Feel the gift of breath in our body to provide circulation, oxygen, blood flow. And now take your arms overhead and stretch and lengthen the whole right side of your body. Reach your right leg and hip down and your right ribs and arm up. And then just stretch to the other side. It's like you're walking on the floor. Lengthen the right side of your body. Lengthen the left side of your body. And continue to alternate, flossing through your spine, flossing through the spinal muscles, through the side body, through the front body. Breathing in and breathing out. Inhale, finding space. One more time, inhale, exhale, and center. Slowly bring your arms around to the side, bend your knees. Roll on to the side. And in your time, up to a seated position. Hands to the legs, lifting tall through your spine. Broadening across your collarbone. Feeling the strength of your body, supporting yourself, holding you up. Take a breath in. And exhale. And inhale. And exhale. Thank you all for joining me. I hope that felt good for you. As we finish on the floor, make sure that you get up safely so you can come over onto your hands and knees. You can bring one foot forward, make sure the back toes are curled under, and use yourself to help yourself up to a stand. So getting up off the floor comfortably. I will unmute you and see how we're doing. Good.